Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Scott. What's up, Scott?
Hello.
What's up, Chris?
What's up, guys?
All right, so, Chris, the number's a little better, but it's like 179, Godzilla.
Yeah, it's still not that great, though.
No, I mean, not really. So, any news at all? Like, anything going on with that or no?
No, nothing crazy. I mean, everyone's just been talking about it. I know a lot of people are really disappointed, so especially a lot of the people that wanted the Monsterverse to continue post Godzilla versus Kong. I think a lot of people have finally accepted. I think today was like the day that people finally accepted that that's probably going to be the end of the monster. Unless two things have to happen, which would be like highly unlikely. They're not impossible, but I would say they're highly unlikely. Is that this movie would have to have a day where people just go see it and it does really well all of a sudden. Either that or somehow, some way, Godzilla versus Kong just goes through the roof and just makes a shitload of money. And then Legendary and Warner Brothers are like, hey, maybe there is something here.
Well, let me ask you a question. What does this movie need to generate in order for it to be guaranteed? Like, in other words, I'm not saying it has to do billions, but like the original Godzilla 2014 one, right? I mean, that was what, 529? Was that
was around there, yeah.
Okay. I mean, do you even think it's going to reach 400 million?
From everything I read today, they said that seems even unlikely.
Okay. Now, I'm expecting tomorrow us to get that little preview foreign number thing that wasn't added to this, because that usually happens. You don't think it's going to be that much of a difference tomorrow if whatever's added? Like, instead of it being 179, it might be 200 million, like total.
I'd be very surprised if it was.
So I guess China, they don't like it? I mean...
No, China liked it. It did well in China. It's everywhere else it didn't do well.
But it's not... Here's the thing, right? It's not doing in China like Avengers numbers, though.
It was never gonna do Avengers numbers, but it did the number they predicted, which was much bigger than anything 2014 did, and that's what it did.
Okay.
So,
but
China's
it's just a question of here. We got to do here domestically. It's got to make the money.
Domestically, yeah, it's here and everywhere else but China. For some reason, nobody went to go see the movie, which to me means that it's not something in the movie that's causing people not to like it, because everybody that's seen the movie really liked it, except for the professional critics. But at this point, I think we all know that
they're not even worth it.
But so this is what I'm saying. Something happened between last month and this month that caused people to say, I'm not going to see this movie. And I don't know what it is. Because up until last month, the buzz for this movie was it's going to do incredible numbers.
Mm-hmm. I got to tell you, researching and looking at this stuff, I thought that Aladdin was going to tank, right? Mm-hmm. It didn't. In fact, the second week, that right now, this weekend, it pulled in like 42 million second place.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that I didn't foresee. Like, that's numbers away from Godzilla, obviously. But then again, you can't just blame Aladdin, because, like, you had Rocket Man, you had Ma, you had Brightburn.
Even Aladdin didn't do what they thought it was going to do. So a lot, and the same thing happened to Brightburn. Brightburn did not do well. They're saying it did not do well compared to what they were expecting.
What were they expecting?
I don't know what they were expecting exactly, but I've heard a couple of reports saying that both Aladdin, Brightburn, and now even Godzilla did not do anything like they. Well, Godzilla did, but the other two did not do what they were expecting.
Well, first of all, let's look at Brightburn for a minute, right? $5 million. That's all it cost.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 25 million.
Yeah, they were expecting more.
Like what, 50, 70?
They were expecting it to go pretty high, yeah.
Like 100?
I don't know exactly what it was, but I know from some reports saying that it did not do what the studio thought it was going to do.
I mean, it's still a success. No? I mean, it's $5 million to make. Look at the profit.
Apparently, they're not saying so.
Really?
Yes.
Now, Aladdin, though, Aladdin has in $455 million.
Aladdin has in the money, but if you look at the reception for it, nobody cares.
Well, I mean, I would think that's true. Like nobody. Really
and that's not good. That's not good for a Disney property. If nobody cares about a Disney property, that's bad.
You think it's because people are getting tired of the whole live action conversion?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So in other words, it's doing good numbers, but nobody gives a shit. Like in other words, it's just there, and even if it did like 500 million, nobody will remember it. Nobody cares.
Exactly.
But so what is people just going to see the movie instead of Godzilla?
I don't know. I think that there's a portion of the crowd that's doing that. But again, I'm not going to sit here and say that Aladdin is the reason that this is happening, because this seems to be like a global thing everywhere other than China, which we knew it was going to do well there because they have well-known Chinese talent in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
but I still don't think it. I honestly, with looking at the China numbers, I don't think it is as good as we expected to do in China. I thought it was going to do better.
It doubled what it did in 2014. This is what they expected. It did well there.
So you're saying we're not going to get another 100 million out of China?
I would be very surprised.
I don't get it. I don't know.
This is the thing. If the word of mouth around the world, which again, saying that is just ridiculous, but like around the world is like super positive, and next weekend or sometime this week people say, shit, I got to go see this movie because everybody liked it. That's the only thing that's going to save this movie. Mm-hmm. But I cannot. I know that the main argument right now has been that, oh, it's because this is a niche interest. And it's like, okay, but that doesn't explain why Godzilla 2014 and Kong did very well. If it's such a niche, and then they fixed everything that people complained about in 2014, you would think that more people would go see it. But obviously, the people who complained about 2014, they didn't get off their asses to go see the movie. So,
well, let me ask you a question. Let me try to figure this out. Is it like, could it be the choice of the monsters, maybe, that they're not fans like us where they want like new monsters, or they want other monsters other than Mothra, Rodin, King Ghidorah, like all the time it's Mothra.
What newer monsters could they get though?
No, I know, but I'm saying, could that be it?
Well, here's my thing about that. Yes, it's possible that that's the case, but here's my thing. If you're not a Godzilla fan,
right,
it would be new monsters to you in general.
Right.
So hearing somebody say, like, let's say you have a friend who's not a Godzilla fan, right?
Right. And
they saw the trailer and they were like, "Man, did you see that 3-headed dragon?"
Right.
And then you would say, "Oh, that's Ghidorah. That's one of Godzilla's main enemies."
Right.
They go, "Oh shit, I got to find out more about him."
Correct. Yeah.
So if you're not a fan, these are new monsters to you by default. If you are a fan, your ass is in the seat because Mothra, Rodan, and Ghidorah.
Correct. I mean, you would think.
So at this point, I think they could have had 7 new Mutos in there, and people
I don't care about Mutos.
No, but I'm not saying whether you care about them or not. What I'm saying is you could have them in there, and people still wouldn't have gone to see it.
I'm just dumbfounded. I don't understand why this is happening. I don't have a reasoning at all. Like we're trying to figure out stuff. There's no reasoning behind it. I mean, it's just a weird thing, and nobody's seeing this movie. And I'm like, the movie was great, excellent. Like, what the hell? What are you missing? Like, why are you not going to see this movie? I'm in shock.
And I can't even say that this is something that was expected because, like I said, everything in the marketing was good. And all the reactions I saw from both Godzilla, I know this is just my experience, but all the reactions and even articles that reported it from credible sources said this movie is looking to make a huge impact when it comes out. And then all of a sudden it came out and it was like everybody forgot that it existed.
You know what? I'm going to say, and this is the weirdest thing, we're going to have to judge it this week. I'm going to say these past couple of days were a fluke. I'm going to say that this week it's going to have a strong week.
I hope so.
And by Friday it'll be maybe 350 or something. I mean, I don't know, man.
You still got X-Men, but still, that one might.
That might tank, first of all.
Yeah.
And Godzilla may stay number one because of word of mouth.
If X-Men is bad and it has bad word of mouth, then I think people might say, I'm not going to see that. I'm going to go see Godzilla. So that could happen.
And they still got Ma and Rocket Man, too. So that's a set.
Yeah. But the problem is Secret Life of Pets is also coming out, too. And that's going to knock things out of the
absolutely, yeah. Part of me really wonders if it was also the release date.
We talked about that, though, didn't we?
It might have been when it came out.
We said that it was...
This might have been a movie that should have come out maybe in March like it was originally going to. Because if you remember, way back when, this was originally coming out in March.
Well, when is Kong coming out? Godzilla vs. Kong. March. That's better. Yeah.
Yeah.
March is better. Like, we thought, we was talking about this. We said this is a bad spot.
Yeah.
We thought.
That's another thing, though, is that when they moved the release date, because this is a prime release date for most blockbusters, but when they moved it, all of these professional sites are like, that means that this studio has incredible confidence in this movie. And everybody was like, yes, good. Then all of a sudden, all these things started happening, and it was like, uh-oh.
You know what I think it is? I think that these companies get egos. Like, our boy could take out these guys. Just like Hellboy. Remember we were saying that?
Yeah.
We're like, don't be a hero. Don't be stupid. Put Hellboy out in January. We said this. We said Hellboy is going to get massacred, right?
It's going to, yeah.
Move that shit out of there. They don't want to listen. That shit bombed. We said the same thing about Mummy. We're like, get that shit out of there. Don't want to listen. That got bombed, right? Godzilla, I originally, I think we were saying, too, it was not a good thing to come out at that time. But we didn't really go crazy about it like Hellboy and everything. But
yeah,
I'm going to tell you right now that, and I've said it, like some of these movies that are coming out now are going to kill each other. They're going to kill each other. Like, I honestly think that Toy Story is going to bury Child's Play so bad that there will not be
that happening. If Child's Play makes it to number, I'm going to say make it to number 2 at least, I'll be surprised.
No way. I think that Child's Play is going to bitch slap. I mean, Toy Story 4 is going to bitch slap Child's Play so bad that we will not get a movie, period, for like 10 years.
Because already the reception for that movie, like I've heard from people who are huge fans of that, they're all kind of like, I really don't care.
And for you to put Child's Play out against Toy Story, you got to be out of your effing mind.
And that's just it. They want and that's what they're looking at. Okay.
It's ego. It's all about the ego. That's what it is. Egos are making Hollywood bankrupt, okay? You got to do it. You got to plan it out, strategize when you're going to release this thing. Don't forget about I have 100% faith in my property. Forget that shit. When you start putting stuff out in this season, one after the other, you're going to get killed. You got to know, hey, listen, they got freaking Avengers, Captain Marvel, all this shit, man. Take Godzilla, push that shit to March, or push it after, whatever. So I think that Godzilla vs. Kong in March is going to do a killing, I think. But I have to see what it's coming up against it, because supposedly it's going up against, I think, a Marvel movie or something like that. I don't know.
I looked at what it's slated to go up against right now, and it's not anything impressive.
Well, we don't know what Marvel movies are coming out next year.
Well, no, I know. But as of right now, there's nothing Marvel-related, as far as I remember, coming out anywhere near it. So
and I just have to add something not related, because before I forget. Disney, you sly dogs, man. You attempting to get Keanu Reeves for Eternals? Oh man. Yeah. You guys, seriously.
Got the ball.
Like, you really don't want this movie to bomb at all.
Yeah.
You know, and he's not confirmed yet. But
can you imagine if he channels John Wick?
Listen, he's not confirmed yet. I know, right? He's not confirmed yet. But just picture Angelina Jolie, Thanos, Keanu Reeves. I mean, come on. Come on. I will see that. That will change my mind about Eternals. But let's just push that to the side. I want to talk about a little bit about Far From Home, Chris. I was talking about my live stream about it. I'm going to tell you right now, if they try to do this Sinister Six crap, like if they put that in the movie or something, that they're forming a team and they're going after him, it's not going to make any damn sense because, as I said in my live stream, he hasn't been a hero in New York by himself. It's always Avengers Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame. Nobody knows him enough, I think, unless they're trying to, like, whatever. Nobody knows him enough to even want to team up or hate him. Like, so if you get a whole group of superheroes together, like, and you got to think about this for a second, right? It wouldn't make sense if he was gone for 5 years because nobody gives a shit. You know? He's been gone for 5 years. So people won't even remember who Spider-Man is. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see that in Far From Home. He's not established yet. He can't take on the Sinister Six. Don't even go there. I heard a rumor that that's going to be. And then somebody threw a name out, Bryan Cranston, as Norman Osborn. I don't even know if that's true. Listen, don't even go there. Don't even entertain. Your Spider-Man is not established yet. You need to have him in a movie without any mother in there. I don't want Nick Fury in there. I don't want Iron Man in there. I don't want any Avengers in there. I want him to be in the Daily Bugle. I want him to go to school, or he's an intern or whatever. I want him to web swing throughout the city. No intervention with any event.
Sony, though. You know Sony. They're going to be like, get the Sinister Six in there.
They are. And you know what? Big mistake, Sony. We're right a lot of times. A lot.
They're going to try. What they're probably going to try to do is either put them all in at the same time, or they're going to introduce 3 of them at the same time.
Let me tell you something. You know what? They're so like Amazing Spider-Man 3 envy that they wanted to do the Sinister Six so bad. Come on, don't even bother. You don't know what you.
Granted, they got him, the one dude. They should wait for his. I'm going to say his 4th or 5th movie, if they ever get around to doing one of those. Till they have the Sinister Sixes. Then
he's been gone for 5 years.
Maybe 3 in one, 3 in the other, and then in the following one you can do that.
Chris and Scott, he's been gone for 5 years.
Yeah.
Who's thinking about him for 5 years? The Vulture?
They're not.
No, I mean really. And what did he do before that? Did he have a whole roster of villains? Not really.
Really.
So you can't do that. It's not going to work.
No, honestly, the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking that 5-year gap was a mistake. I really am.
Oh, I think so too.
I really started to believe that might have caused more problems than.
I think so.
Because I honestly feel like they threw that in there, partially for shock value, and partially because they thought it was a good idea at the time, when really it was like. That doesn't really leave a lot of room for your stuff going forward because now you got to have like the effects of what happened after that, you know? Like
I'm going to tell you right now, I honestly think that, you know, they're going to have to, this is going to cause problems. Listen, the fact that you wanted all the Avengers, you wanted everybody to appear 5 years later only because you didn't want to have anything that was going to undo your daughter. So the whole universe appears 5 years later only because again, Morgan Stark, right? Doesn't make any sense, right? At all.
They better have some big plans for her in the future.
Yeah.
Because if they did this for a character that we're never going to see again.
One character.
They're going to catch heat.
You know what they're going to have to do to fix this? You know what they're going to have to do? They're going to have to just do... No, they're going to have to do movies, and they're going to say it's set in the universe where Thanos never came to be, and everything is the same other than, everything is the same other than him forming the gauntlet, and then you go on from there. Unfortunately,
they're going to do that.
I don't know. All I know is that you can't Sony better pay attention because you can't form a Sinister Six on somebody that just became a hero and then he's gone for 5 years. You can't do that. I mean, doesn't that make sense, Chris?
Oh, I think it's way too early to do the Sinister Six because, like you said, I don't think he's been established enough to warrant a group like that going after him. However,
one villain.
However, though, knowing Sony, they're going to try and rush this to be like, get all the villains in there, and it's going to be like, okay.
They're going to do a little semi time jump, like, oh, he's been battling these people and blah, blah, blah for a lot.
Stop with the time jumps. We're already in 2023, right?
I know.
That's ridiculous.
Where we are.
2023. That's what they're in. 2023.
I don't think that adds up. I don't know. I think one of the movies before that was set in 2020. So like I don't even.
What movie?
I think if you do the math, Homecoming winds up being in 2020.
Can't be 2020 because Avengers Endgame took place in 2023.
Then that means, well, I don't know about that because
it took place 5 years after 2018.
No, think about it. Because if Avengers took place, what did they say at the beginning of Homecoming? That it was 8 years later?
They said, forget about that. They made a mistake. That whole time.
No, that's still part of the timeline, though.
No, it isn't. They changed it.
Yes.
They said no. They didn't. No, it isn't.
Yo, it is. They said it was.
Well, look. Here's the thing. Avengers Endgame didn't say 2018, then 5 years later. We're in 20. It didn't say that.
It didn't say that.
Infinity War was in 2018.
No, because if you look at when the Avengers took place, the first one, it either took place in 2011 or 2012. They said 8 years later.
I know they're saying their timeline. All right, we got to find this out now because let's look this up, Chris. Scott, help me. What is? Let's see.
Okay.
But even if it took place in 2023, what's the point? Like why does it matter? Like what are you trying to get at?
No, because he brought up a thing about doing a time jump. I'm like, how much further could you do a time jump?
No, I don't want any more time.
Yeah, they're saying, okay, right. I'm about to bring this. Endgame takes place in 2023.
Yeah, I figured that.
That doesn't add up. That whatever you're looking at is probably wrong because that doesn't add up.
But didn't the movie say that?
I don't ever remember them saying when it took place. All I remember is it saying 5 years later.
So technically, like Infinity War in 2014.
So it doesn't make sense because if you look at the first Avengers when that came out, right? That was supposed to either be in their universe, if I remember correctly, 2011 or 2012. The beginning of Homecoming said 8 years later.
But here's the thing. But here's the thing. Marvel admitted that's Sony, not like Marvel, like not Disney. They said they made a mistake.
Well, they can't make a mistake because it's canon in the movie. So I mean,
but
you can't go back on it now.
They said it can't be 8 years.
Well, unfortunately, it is. So it's either 2019 or 2020 that Homecoming takes place.
But then, if Homecoming, the first one, takes place in 2020. Then this is 2025.
Homecoming, they're saying, is taking place in 2017.
That makes even less sense.
I don't know.
And then Strange.
No, not when it came out.
Before.
I don't know. All I know is
that takes place in 2018.
You see already, though?
2017 and Infinity.
You see already, though? You see already? We have a problem already. There's going to be conflict. The years are going to be off. It's not going to make any sense.
It is. It's a major problem.
It's a major problem.
People have been asking Kevin Feige because he said, I have the timeline in my office or something like that.
Bullshit.
Why don't you make the fucking
timeline?
Like, seriously, make the friggin' timeline public so that we're not having this issue.
So in other words, we can't watch the movies in order of when it came out, not the bullshit order they say, and just craft our own timeline from it?
Well, I mean, even if let's say Endgame does take place in 2023. I still agree with you. I don't think we should have another time jump because I think at this point,
we're not. And in fact, I mean, I honestly wish that Doctor Strange and the Ancient One, they could have fixed something where, I don't know, you can't actually, because then that 5-year thing is such shit.
Yeah, it really is annoying when you think about it. But
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
If they put the friggin' Sinister Six in the third one, which I absolutely expect them to,
Yeah,
I think
me too.
it's a little too early. A little too early.
Yeah. I think they're doing it. Yeah, Avengers Infinity War, if it took place in 2018, 5 years later, boom, there's Endgame. Yeah, no.
Somebody made a mistake because that's inaccurate.
So, I mean, Spider-Man Homecoming should be in 2018, no? The same year as Infinity War? Shouldn't it be the same year as Infinity War? Like months later? No?
Maybe.
I don't know. You get a headache trying to figure this out.
Yeah, and that's why I sent
Technically,
both of you.
Here's the thing. Technically, Avengers Age of Ultron, right, should be like a year later from Avengers, no? Instead of it saying 2015, it should be like 2013, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would think, right? Because they're still together. It's like 6 months. Because in the movies, it's like 6 months later and they're tracking down. It should be like the timeline for Age of Ultron should be 2013. Because that would line up with Iron Man 3.
Yeah, so what I'm reading here, they're saying that Homecoming was supposed to be 4 years after, but they said 8. So technically, you're supposed to stick to the timeline of the movie. So it's supposed to be 8 years later.
8 years later than 2012.
Yes.
That'd be 2020. That doesn't make any sense. No. They're not. That's not. So they're saying that even though Avengers basically started in 2010?
Well, they're saying either 2011 or 2012.
Jesus Christ.
Technically, if you wanted to sync up the real timeline with the universe of the movie's timeline, it would be 2012. So 8 years later, we put Homecoming in 2020.
There's going to be a mess when these movies come out. They're not going to communicate with each other, and Sony's going to say some weird shit for the year, too. Now, watch. They're going to say 2019 for the year. Watch.
You're probably right.
Absolutely. It's like the sites that don't give a shit and they don't spell things right anymore. They don't even care anymore. There's no grammar. There's no nothing anymore. They just get the scoop at it, can't even spell the name of the character right anymore.
You're right.
This is a mess. It's like I got a headache just like when I read the X-Men books and characters died like 50 times. I came back. And then its cousin from the future.
And that's just with the Colossus alone.
Jesus. With the legacy virus. Trying to figure out how he survived that shit.
Maybe it's Deadpool that's messing up the timeline.
It has to be. It's his fault. That's what they should do. They should have a Marvel scapegoat.
Overfield paradox.
A Doctor Strange would be like,
blame it on the paradox.
Blame it on the
yeah. It's Cloverfield. Is there any other movie we could talk about that we're not feeling verklempt? I mean,
I have some rumors that I heard that we could talk about.
Is it like shitty Transformer rumors, or is it cool?
It depends on your perspective of things, I guess.
Oh, no.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so I'm dropping this right here. This is potential spoilers for Godzilla vs. Kong. So
Great.
Stop watching now if you don't want to know.
Right.
This is assuming that movie still comes out. But anyway, okay. Now, again, take this with a grain of salt. This is a rumor, and this is coming from a particular highly popular Godzilla-based forum that usually discusses leaks from movies and whatnot. if there's ever a leak for a script, it usually winds up here. And the person who leaked this particular rumor has had a great track record of saying things months beforehand and then things turning out absolutely correct. Specifically, though, I can say that this person cited multiple things for scenes from Godzilla King of the Monsters that turned out completely correct. And then the marketing in China had some kind of weird posters for Godzilla King of the Monsters. He described what they were, and then literally months later, it was literally exactly what he said.
Right.
So, again, though, take this with a grain of salt. This is not confirmed. However, there is evidence in Godzilla King of the Monsters to support this.
Okay.
So this person said that in Godzilla vs. Kong, along with Godzilla and Kong, obviously, and a couple of other Titans, obviously, that Mechagodzilla is in the movie.
Oh, no.
Now, at first I was like, sure. Mechagodzilla is in the movie. Sure. I'll humor you there. Why would Mechagodzilla be in this movie, personally?
I know you and I were talking about
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
You remember how I said I think they're going to do Mechagodzilla eventually?
So yeah. I was under that impression, like, okay, I heard that there was a thing called the Titan Destroyer in this next movie, but let's say that that's not true, okay? So I didn't believe this until I went to see Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Right.
And for those of you who have seen the movie, you know that the movie with a bunch of newspaper clippings that are kind of describing what's going on post King of the Monsters. And there's a particular newspaper clipping that says something strange is happening on Skull Island. And if you look in the little newspaper article in one of the sections, it says, reports confirm that Monarch is building a mechanized giant under the island.
Wasn't there supposed to be some video somebody was taken and it blows up in the or am I thinking of another movie?
Yeah, I don't think that was this.
Could it be that they're trying to initiate a fight with Kong and Godzilla where they make a Mecha Godzilla to attack Kong, but he looks like Godzilla?
At this point, I don't think that's too far off. I know that a lot of people are divided between it's either Mecha Godzilla or it's Mecha King Ghidorah based on Jonah Allen's character getting the severed head of Ghidorah.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought too with Mecha King Ghidorah, right?
Right. So I think it could be either or. However, I think the more likely of the two is Mecha Godzilla because he's more popular than Mecha King Ghidorah, and they had a good reaction from Ready Player One when Mecha Godzilla showed up at the end of that movie.
Yeah.
So is that going to be our third kind of main Titan / Mecha in Godzilla vs. Kong? Could be at this point.
See, the thing is, I'm a huge Mecha Godzilla fan, right?
Right.
But to me, I've been waiting for so long for Godzilla versus King Kong, right? Mm-hmm. So long. And I wouldn't want him in there to take away from that.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. You know, like, that should be another movie. Just Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla. Absolutely. Rematch again. ×4 or whatever it's going to be. But, like, not in this movie.
Yeah.
But we're going to get that probably, which...
Potentially.
Potentially. But what about Destroyer?
Well, that was my thing. In the original plot leak that I had read, that they said that there was supposed to be some sort of thing called the Titan Destroyer. In other leaks, it was called the World Destroyer, but most of the ones I saw said the Titan Destroyer. I would have rather seen something like that, honestly, because I still stand by what I said before. I'm not really keen on seeing Mechagodzilla in the Monsterverse, but at this point, I think everything seems to be pointing to that, because Gareth Edwards said that had he continued the story, it would have eventually led to mankind making their quote-unquote own monster to fight Godzilla or other Titans.
Why can't they get him back?
Who? Gareth?
Yeah.
He has basically sworn off for a while doing big budget movies because of what happened with Rogue One. And someone made a really good point that initially when he signed on to do Star Wars, there were some reports saying that Legendary and Warner Brothers were willing to wait for him to come back to do Godzilla 2. But somebody said, seeing that the tone from 2014 to King of the Monsters was so different, that maybe he heard what they were going to do, and he was like, that's not really for me. That's not how I would do it.
So, in other words, he had a different vision for Godzilla King of the Monsters?
I have no doubt in my mind saying this, that had Gareth Edwards done Godzilla King of the Monsters, it would have been vastly different from what we got.
And would have been better?
It depends on your perspective again. If you didn't like 2014, you probably wouldn't have liked his version of King of the Monsters.
I mean, I wasn't crazy about not hardly seeing Godzilla. I wanted to see Godzilla, and we hardly saw him. I was not happy about that. I mean, not that I hated the movie, but it just, you know.
I think had they come to him and said, we want you to do Godzilla 2, we have access to these other monsters, I think he flat out would have said, I'm not using all three in the next one.
Okay.
I think he would have split it up. I think he would have done
Ghidorah, that's it.
I think he would have done Mothra and Rodan in the second one, and then lead into a third one where they have to fight Ghidorah.
A build-up. Yeah.
Yep. I think that's what he would have done.
Probably too fast.
Yeah. But
so now, what does he do now?
Who?
What movies is he doing? Indie movies? What is he doing?
Doing his independent movies like he did with Monsters.
Yeah. That sucks, man.
Well, I mean, that's what he wants to do, you know?
I guess he's just upset because of... Now, Rogue One, didn't they fire him, right?
They didn't fire him. They just, after the movie was released, or not released, but after the movie was done, they basically rewrote a lot of it and reshot some of it. So I think he had kind of a bad taste in his mouth after that.
I still loved it, though.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I loved it to pieces. Highly surprised, you know. One of my favorite movies, too. It was great. All right, so I guess that's what's going on with Godzilla. What's going on with Transformers? Are we getting...
the last thing I heard is that supposed Optimus Prime movie they were doing has been canceled.
Well, that's good. But they're making a sequel to Bumblebee, right?
I believe so, yeah.
And they're making another Transformers movies, right? But they said they're going to make a sequel to
that seventh one I heard got canceled as well.
The Last Night sequel?
Yep.
Jesus. And what about this? Well, I know they were supposed to reboot G.I. Joe so they can incorporate that in the Transformers thing.
I actually, when I was looking up stuff for what was going up against Godzilla vs. Kong, I saw on the release schedule a G.I. Joe film.
There is.
Yeah.
I think it's Snake Eyes spinoff.
It had a weird title.
It's probably like G.I. Joe Snake Eyes Adventures or some shit.
No, that wasn't it. It had like a really strange title.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Because you know what it was? They wanted The Rock, and he wasn't available. So I think they went with this spinoff thing until they can get him ready, which I guess, what is he? Free.
G.I. Joe Ever Vigilant.
That's Snake Eyes.
It could be, yeah.
That's like a Storm Shadow Snake Eyes thing.
Yeah.
Which is a sequel to the last one, kind of, because they're not rebooting it because again they're gonna get The Rock in it in 2020, whatever friggin' year he's available, I guess. Because who knows if he's doing another Jumanji again after this new one coming out. All right, we've run out of time. Thank you guys. Take care. Bye for now.